This is the Doom Tomb Podcast, a podcast for all things stoner, doom, and sludge, and we have another band that will be playing at FUZZ FEST in Dallas-Fort Worth this weekend, and the name of the band is Oberon, and we'll be talking to DJ Bryant. Let's start the interview. This is Oberon. Progressive space metal. This is a band from Oklahoma with influences ranging from Mastodon, Baroness, The Sword, Danzig, and so much more. They have this goal to create epic musical adventures that mirror the harshness and beauty of deep space. They believe that not only is the music itself important, but also the overall image and presentation. That's why when they play live or what have you, they want to create this cohesive, unique experience, combining music, artwork, and live performance to bring something new to every town and city that they visit. I'm honored to have DJ Bryant from the band Oberon on the Doom Tomb Podcast. How you doing, brother?
Hey, I'm doing great, Chris. Thanks for having me on.
Thank you. And you know what? That bio, I missed a word before I actually read it, but I got it in the show notes. I'm going to get to that in just a bit. So you're out of Ada, Oklahoma? Did I say that right?
Yeah, that's correct.
Cool, dude. And what I'm getting out of this material, because I've been listening to it ever since I reached out to everybody that is going to be at the FUZZ Fest in Dallas-Fort Worth. And I got to say something about this, your music. It's so refreshing because I talk about it a lot, and people might be tired of it. Progression of the genre, and it's not a pun intended. You guys have this epic progressive doom sound that is it's a totally different experience, whether it's the vocal or the musicianship. So I've been enjoying this ever since I messaged you, brother.
Oh, great! That's good to hear.
And I got these kind of ideas about what I'm hearing, and maybe you could expound on it a little bit. I get this almost Amon Amarth style of progressive doom with a clean vocal, and
that's interesting take.
Your vocal has this. I heard Danzig, but I also I don't know if you ever heard this. Anybody has ever told you? You have this kind of vocal style that I almost hear a little bit of John Joseph from the Cro-Mags.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
No, I haven't actually heard that one. Yeah.
Yeah, it's in some of the drag of the vocal and such, and I don't know if anybody's ever mentioned that.
No, not that one. It's usually mostly Danzig.
Right.
It's because I grew, listening to Danzig, and I never actually wanted to sing like Danzig. It just kind of happened that way.
It's the way it comes out.
I used to listen to a lot of old punk stuff too. So,
like what?
Yeah.
What?
Like the Dead Kennedys and the Misfits, or a couple of the big ones, and the Damned. Right. Those are some ones I grew up on big time. So it's kind of where I get that vocal style from. Now, the band name,
I wasn't sure. Now, did you take that from Shakespeare?
We didn't. We learned about that after the fact.
Okay.
So it's kind of a funny story now, yeah.
So
when people look up the name. We came up the name because we are kind of like space nerds, more so me and Jeremy, the other guitar player. And it is Oberon. It is a moon of Uranus, the planet Uranus.
Oh, really?
So we just kind of went through and just kind of like decided on what we wanted, and then we just hit that one, and that's what it was.
And that's what it wound up being. Now, also, I did a little research on it, and it's also what they would consider a French heroic song.
French heroic?
Yeah, like of a hero. And I can't think of a better description for your band, because This is like when every time I hear this your music, it's like I'm going into battle. And even when I hear the tracks, I love when it's so huge and so monstrous and so epic. And then it's almost like the when you're playing live or something, people need your breakdowns, dude, because you must be creating some sweaty messes in that audience.
Oh, we try to. We try and take our and give it to them out there.
Yeah, it's
the
like
only way to do it. Yeah.
A lot of times in the genre when I'm watching people watching the audience, and it's almost like like they're nodding their head and they're going along with it. For you guys, it's like complete headbanging, man.
Yeah, we try to bring that, and then of course I'm sure you've heard like we have like the slower instrumentals in between. We like people to go all out and then just kind of bring it down a little bit. And then bring them right back into it.
Yeah, totally. And you can completely hear that. It's like, whew, I finally get a break. And it's almost like in some of the songs, and we'll go over those in a little bit, but it's almost like something that Metallica would do in a way. They play these huge riffs and then like break it down and then build it back up again.
Oh, yes.
Hey,
that's one of the biggest influences. Yeah.
Oh, right on. Do you mind if we go over some tracks?
Yeah. Sure thing.
So you did this split with the band Sunlander. I'm hoping to get them on someday too. And you did a couple tracks here. Now, and there's one very interesting track that I got to talk about. But we have Antimatter versus Matter. What can you tell me about that?
It's kind of goofy when you think about it, but it's basically when the universe was created, there was an amount of antimatter and an amount of matter, and basically matter won the war, and now there's more matter than antimatter. And if it wasn't like that, if it wasn't that case, there would probably be no universe because it would cancel each other out. True. So it was just kind of like we like to be stupid sometimes, and it was just kind of like one of those songs. It's so ridiculous, like making a song about matter and antimatter fighting each other.
I think it all matters, basically.
Yeah.
And what can you tell me about Whisper of the Whales?
So that's actually kind of an extension of we have an EP, Through Space We Ride. Right. And there's an instrumental on there called Whisper of the Whales. And it's just me basically playing the guitar. And then a couple years ago, we just jammed it all as a band and kind of extended it. So that's just basically what it became.
Like you fleshed it out and just made it a little bigger. Yeah,
exactly. We love whales, so why not just call it something about whales?
Yeah, I saw that on your Facebook. So what's the fascination with whales, dude?
They're just, they're amazing creatures, Yes, I think they're a lot more intelligent than what most people think. And I think that's something like the world kind of needs to think about, not think about just ourselves.
Absolutely. So. We always have to think about the world around us.
Yeah.
Now, this next track, I'm very interested in this. Yeah. So it's a cover.
Yeah.
Eye of the Tiger. What? Okay. Yes. How? Why?
I just started playing the riff one night during practice.
Right.
By accident. I was like, oh, that sounds like Eye of the Tiger riff. And then we jammed on it for a second, and it sounded like really badass. And then I spent time just kind of writing it and just trying to make it like basically completely different, except for like some of the lyrics and of course like the main riff and whatnot. But yeah, that's really how it came to be.
I really like it when a band takes a song, a cover, and really makes it your own. And you have done that completely.
Yeah, it's funny because we don't really like the song "Eye of the Tiger."
Right.
It's okay, It's got that iconic, little riff in there, but it's like, yeah, it's not my cup of tea. But let's make it our own. And people like it, so yeah. Well, that's why we ended up recording it. So
yeah, I got to tell you, man, it takes me back because And you know, it's funny. I know it's from Rocky 3, I believe, right?
Yeah, correct.
But the way I know it, it's the original entrance music for Hulk Hogan.
Oh yeah.
Before he
Yes.
now, I don't know if you know if anybody knows this. I geek out about wrestling quite a bit, and so every once in a while
I'm a big wrestling nerd as well, so it's okay.
Oh, really? All right.
Yeah.
Now, okay. Here's the trivia question. So,
Oh, it depends on what era we're talking about here. So
this is it's Hogan era. Do you know Hogan era?
okay. I'm 29, so it was more so like Attitude Era for me. So,
and I think that was one of the best eras in my
yeah, I'd have to agree.
Okay, so check this out. So, Eye of the Tiger is what he used to come out to. Then he changed it, or they changed it, to the song "I'm a Real American" or "Real American."
Yeah,
that was not made for him. That was actually made for this tag team of Barry Windham and Mike Rotunda. Or Rotunda?
Really?
Yeah, and I was like, oh man, why did they take that? And it was, I don't know, it's just, I get it. It was like USA kind of stuff, but.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, I never knew that actually.
All right.
So you got me.
So, Attitude Era.
Yes.
Favorite wrestler?
I mean, Stone Cold.
Thank you. Very good, sir.
Yeah. I mean, The Rock's up there. And then, I mean, there's Sting, obviously.
Right.
Some of the greats. But yeah, Stone Cold, just because he didn't give. I don't know if I can curse on here.
You say whatever you want, dude.
Because he didn't give a fuck, basically.
Yeah, that's it.
That's kind of like, that's my mentality, you know. It's just kind of like you do it. And that's kind of like what we took that kind of same idea with the music. It was just kind of like, let's do what we want to do. Let's not pigeonhole ourselves. So like I've always taken that, you know, to the heart, his wise words.
Yes. And you know what? That brings me to something. So I'm curious, how long have you been in an active band now?
Since October of 2010 was Oberon's official show, I will say, but it was with a different drummer and no bass player.
Okay, so can you tell me what year you guys started wearing spacesuits?
That was, what is this, 2019? I want to say it had to have been around 2015, maybe.
Right.
That started wearing them, and we don't wear them. We're currently not wearing them right now again. Only because we want to kind of, we feel like they've run their course with what we've been doing, and now we kind of really want to bring more like of a stage theatrics to it, like more lights and everything like that.
Okay.
To kind of like make the show even more so. It's really hard, like especially whenever you play like these shows with more bands, and like you already have to set up all your stuff, and then by the time you get around to being able to set up your lights and everything else, it's just kind of really hard to do all that with the amount of time that you're given. So
yeah, you want to make sure you got enough time.
Yeah, hopefully soon we'll have something down to like that'll be quick and get everything done quickly.
There you go. Now you also because just to go back to wrestling for a second, so I saw this poster that I don't know who did the illustration, but I loved it, and it was for a pallbearer show, and yeah. I don't know who was the brilliant genius that actually put the pallbearer on there.
That would be me.
Is that your art?
Yeah, I did that.
Now, are you doing most of the illustrations for the band?
Yeah, I do all of them.
That is some fantastic work. I was going through your social media, and I was like, "Damn, I got to ask him about this." So you're an artist. Do you do commission work for any other bands, or you just leave it to Oberon?
I've done some stuff, but nothing really major.
Okay.
Yet.
Okay.
But I'm always, Hey, and I'll just put it out there. If anybody need some work done, you just let me know. I also do flyers. I do basically all of our flyers, and I do a bunch of other band flyers around. So
that's awesome because you got an in-house artist. So let's just get this out of the way. How can somebody reach you? What's the easiest way?
You can get me on Facebook or Instagram would probably be the easiest way to get at me. So DJ Bryant, DJ Bryant.
Okay, cool. So, all right. Yeah, thanks, man. I appreciate that. Now, let's go into, if you don't mind, a little bit of Pale Blue Dot.
Okay.
Okay, so as I'm looking here, this came out in 2016. And before I get to it, do you guys have any workings on some new material?
We do. And we are currently in the mixing stage of that.
Okay.
So, yeah, we got a few songs in, and they're sounding really great. And hopefully, I won't say this year, but hopefully sometime next year we'll have something to show.
Are you doing a full release? Or are you doing like an EP? Or?
Yeah, it'll be a full release. It's 13 tracks, and I think it's over an hour of material. So, yeah.
Well, you guys definitely don't skimp on your material. I mean, even starting, there's a couple of instrumentals here. Upon the revolutions of heavenly spheres would kick off, and it's almost like a kickoff to this like rocket ride into space.
Exactly. What else could you ask for?
Can't ask for much more than that. And then we go into Pillars. What can you tell me about it?
Pillars. That was so Pillars is actually one of the very first songs that we wrote as a band. In fact, it's probably older than all the material on the first EP. But it's about the Earth being created is what it's about.
Gotcha. And what can you tell me about Lunar Rising?
That's about the moon being created by an object called Thea. That this is all conjecture, but that crashed into the Earth and then it created the moon.
All right, I gotcha. And what can you tell me about Pale Blue Dot?
Pale Blue Dot's just instrumental, and I just thought it's a homage to Carl Sagan, the late great Carl Sagan.
Yeah.
So I just want a beautiful song that just kind of, you can close your eyes. You don't really have to think about the lyrics. You just kind of put yourself in space with Carl Sagan, of course. Of course.
And we're going to get to him in a second because it sounds like this entire release is kind of dedicated to him in a way.
Mm-hmm. It is.
What can you tell me about Pangea?
That's about the supercontinent that was on Earth before all the continents split apart from continental drift and what have you.
Yeah, I remember seeing that as a kid. You're taking me back to my earth science classes, honestly.
Yeah. Well, that's basically kind of like the whole album was a science lesson about Earth, because that's the album itself is about from when Earth was created, and it's in a linear form to the end, basically.
And that's what you get in the next track, Monsters of the Mesozoic. So I'm assuming we're talking about the Mesozoic era.
Yes, we are. We're talking about dinosaurs.
There you go. And what can you tell me about Starflesh? I love that track, by the way.
Oh, thank you. We'll probably be playing that at FUZZ FEST.
Oh, right on, man.
It is, so following after the dinosaurs, we come into when humans took form.
Right. And
basically coming from stars. Basically, we were formed from stars and whatnot, exploding, and all the elements, heavy elements, coming to Earth and creating us.
And I believe you have a video for that, right?
We do not have a video, I think. If you saw that, you may have seen it on the Bandcamp page.
Yes.
I think it might just be a short clip of a part of the song. I don't think it's the whole song. I'd have to look. I can't remember off the top of my head.
That's cool. And am I saying this right? Earthican Lullaby?
Yeah, Earthican Lullaby. Yes. It's just basically like, I think Eartha can, if I remember correctly, Jeremy it's from Futurama.
Really?
Jeremy is, Futurama nerd, and that's what they called Earthlings, was like Earthicans.
Oh, gotcha.
So
gotcha.
it's just kind of like, it's an instrumental. It's just about humans.
And what can you tell me about From the Sky?
That is about how the theory that aliens put us here on the Earth.
Okay.
And so kind of how we're ruining the planet, and then one day they're going to come back and save us.
Gotcha. And
It's out there, sci-fi than anything.
Yeah, absolutely, man. And we will travel on.
And that's about whenever inevitably the sun will engulf the Earth, and
Right.
then we, as humans, have to find our way off the planet and into the universe.
And finally, beyond the revolutions of heavenly spheres.
And that's really just kind of like to tie in the beginning of the album to the end of the album, because it's basically the same song but in a different format, kind of. And then obviously we have the Carl Sagan quote come in at the end.
Absolutely. Now,
just to kind of tie it there.
Now, how deep do you go with Sagan?
As deep as you want to go.
Well, okay, so him.
I'm not sure how deep.
Well, I know very limited. I just a little. Every once in a while, I feel like I know a little bit about a lot of stuff. I do remember there was a quote that he had about billions and billions from cosmos, and it had to do a little bit with extraterrestrial life, and that there's life elsewhere, and there's millions of civilizations. There was also this thing that I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right. He did something with Frank Drake. Was the Arecibo was it satellite? And they did this message.
Yeah, they sent out the message. Yeah.
What is the message? Like what are they? What is it?
The Arecibo message?
Yeah.
I'd have to really look. I think you kind of put me on the spot on that one, because I can't remember off the top of my head, but I think it's basically, we come in peace.
Oh, I got you. That makes complete sense, man. That makes total sense. All right. Well, hey, that was 2 albums that we crushed through here, Pale Blue Dot and The Divide, split with Sunlander. Do you mind if I ask you a few other questions before you head out?
Yeah, go ahead.
So we talked about you being an artist, and you got to just go check it out. DJ Bryant, hit him up. Let's get some extra scratch in there, so maybe we can spend it on some more Oberon merch or something like that. Before we got on the horn here, you told me that you're a fan of video games. Now, is it current or are you classic? What are you playing?
I play it all. I got the Super Nintendo set up and the PS4 and the Xbox. I got it all set up. But really, I've been going back and forth between Super Mario 3 and then on the Super Nintendo. And then I've been playing a lot of Dead by Daylight on the PS4 recently. Those are my 2 things now.
Tell me about that. What kind of game is it?
It's like a horror survival game. It's 4 survivors versus 1 killer.
Right.
And they're all real people playing. And you basically, as 4 survivors, you have to do generators and get a door open and escape before the killer kills you, basically. But it's pretty simple, but super addicting, and it gets really intense.
Awesome. Now,
so
you've been a gamer for a while?
Oh yeah, since as far as I can remember.
Okay, now let me ask you this question, because I haven't been a gamer for a long time, and I was casual, my way back in the PS2 or whatever. And I think out of all this, I finished one game when I had a Sega Genesis. Like one game I finished all the way through. Have you finished games all the way through?
Oh yeah, and I finished the same game through multiple times, and like Grand Theft Auto series, I've played those probably 10 or more times a piece.
And you finish it?
Yeah.
Like, okay, so here's the thing. When you finish it, I gotta say, this is way back, like you said, Sega Genesis days. I was a little emotional about this when I went through it. What exactly happens? Or is that too much of a spoiler?
In what game?
Like, how about, let's say, what was your favorite ending?
Well, one of my favorites is The Last of Us, which spoilers, but I'm pretty sure any gamer has probably played that by now. But that's kind of like basically like a zombie apocalypse kind of game. And you play as a older gentleman who comes upon a younger girl who is she's immune to the disease. She's been bitten and she's immune.
Right.
And basically they're trying to get her to find a cure for the disease.
Right.
But at the end, they take her from you and you have to go find her and you end up saving her. And then she asks at the end, basically like, so what happened? And you end up lying to her because she wanted them to have the cure, but to get the cure, she would have to die, basically.
Wow.
So you were kind of selfish in that way because you wanted her to survive instead of find a cure for the rest of humanity.
Interesting. Wow, this gets
pretty heavy stuff.
Yeah, shit gets pretty deep, man.
Yeah.
So
that's probably one of my favorites. Yeah.
Okay. And with that, so we're talking video games. We're talking Pale Blue Dot, and I'm getting this thing. There's space, there's extraterrestrials, there's and with that sometimes whether it's Superman or whatever, these super creatures come from another world or another planet, what have you. So I guess the big question is, if you have a superpower, what would it be, or what would you want your superpower to be?
This is always a tough one.
Okay.
But I always like the thought of being immortal, like Wolverine, basically.
Okay. All right.
Just interesting. Yeah, I've always thought, being invisible or traveling at the speed of light, but for me, I love the thought of what future can hold. And like, there's so many questions and answers that I want to know, like mainly because I'm such a huge space nerd, but I would just love to know. And I feel like hopefully one day we'll have those answers and just basically to see what happens in the future. Okay. So
if you're in a space, I'm going to suggest a superpower for you. Tell me if you like it.
Okay.
So you're on Earth, but now you can transport to another solar system. You can transport to anywhere in whatever the universe is. And you can meet or be around another species.
Yeah. I might take that power right there.
Okay.
Teleportation. Yeah.
And
because then at that point you kind of know.
Yeah. Oh my God. Absolutely. Now, the only other question I have, and I've asked people this before, is about superpowers. So you have your superpower. Now, here's the thing: you can choose to test drive 5 superpowers, but at the end you have to pick one, but you only get about 80% of that power. Do you do that, or you just go with one superpower?
I guess then it would kind of depend on which superpower you would end up with.
I know.
80% of all 5 superpowers?
Nope. You get 80% of whatever one you choose if you go through the trial periods.
Okay. I feel like, because if you have like speed of light, 80% of that,
Right.
and then 80% of invisibility. That kind of defeats the purpose.
Yeah.
And then 80% of immortality. What would that even be? So
you're more.
I would probably have.
You're a longer mortal than other mortals.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, how long? Yeah, so I would probably stick with. Oh man, that's a tough question. Now you're asking tough questions. I think I would just pick the one. I would just have to pick one.
Okay.
Stick with it.
And we're going with immortality.
Yeah, let's do that.
Why
not?
Fair enough. That sounds good.
I could run in front of flying bullets for people, so let's just do that.
All right, I love it. I'm there, dude. I still don't know what I want. I know I've asked some people, and they're like, "Well, I kind of want to read minds," and I kind of don't.
Oh, that would be See, I've thought about that, but I think most people just want to know what the opposite sex is thinking about them.
Hey, DJ, if you get the chance and you can figure it out, can you give me a call?
Yeah. Thanks, got it. Man. Next interview.
Yeah, I really appreciate that. So, okay, Ada, Oklahoma. Somebody is coming through Oklahoma and they're going to be touring. Where are the best places to play?
I would say the Blue Note in Oklahoma City. And then we also have 89th Street in Oklahoma City. There's another place called the Railhead Saloon in Lawton, Oklahoma. And then I would like to say probably the Vanguard in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Those are the ones right off the top of my head.
Okay.
That would be the best place.
And so you guys are going to be on the FUZZ Fest bill in Dallas-Fort Worth. And as I was going through, I saw that there's a lot of bands on the bill that you have played with. Is there anyone that you haven't seen yet that you want to see?
Oh, yeah. I've been listening to a lot of the Spotify playlists that we have. Is the FUZZ Fest one. And Bones of the Earth.
Yes.
There is also one that it's probably the most different band, but I'm really digging it. It's called Dirty Blue. And that's I think it's dirty with 2 Y's or 2 U's. I can't remember. I'd have to look. Sorry, guys. But it's very interesting stuff. But I'm really excited for those guys. And then I'm trying to think of the other one. I feel like we've played with most of the bands on there.
A lot of them, yeah.
Yeah. So off the top of my head, I had to be looking at a list to really be able to tell you. I mean, Lady Killer and Stonewolf.
Right.
Or a couple of the ones. Yeah.
That's funny.
There's so many good ones. I'm ready to play all.
Stonewolf was gracious enough to do an interview, and so was Lady Killer. And that other band, I don't see them on here yet. Maybe it's changed. I got to take a look.
Yeah, they were added a little bit after. Are you looking at the flyer?
Yeah, I was looking at where to get tickets. Let me just check this out.
Okay.
What is FUZZ Fest Dallas? Let's see what we got here. That's Michigan. Shit. Okay, never mind. I'm just looking on the computer trying to figure it out here while I'm talking to you. And I'll find it and I'll put a better link up. I got to call Sarah.
Okay. Yeah, I'll actually tell. Yeah, because they still the Renos in DFW still has the ticket event page up apparently. Yeah. So I just want to make sure that people know, hey, don't buy tickets from that. It's going to be at Division Brewing in Arlington, Texas. So yeah, there's been some kind of confusion with all of that. So just want to clear that one up.
Hey, it happens,
Yeah,
it completely happens. So, lastly, what was the last binge watch you had from Netflix or Amazon Prime or whatever?
Oh, binge. I mean, right now I'm currently binging the Stranger Things season 3.
How far in are you?
And I think I'm on 2/3 of the way through, probably.
Okay.
I don't like to look at the episode in case that way I don't like know what's about to happen or the end's coming near.
Right.
But been doing that, yes. So
And-
on that.
Go ahead.
Sorry. Yeah. And then this one's not on Netflix, but been watching my Seinfeld.
Okay.
So got that going on too.
Huge Seinfeld. Do you watch comedians in cars getting coffee?
I've seen a few episodes, but it's not something I regularly watch.
New season's pretty good, man. And I got to tell you, yeah. They got some great interviews, some surprises. It's like they did one with Eddie Murphy. I was really, I was enthralled by it because it's like that was one of the biggest stars for me growing up.
Oh yeah, one of the biggest comedians of all time, right there.
Oh, absolutely. And
those days, yeah.
I'm a little bit ahead of you. My fiance and I were kind of like savoring Stranger Things right now.
Same, yeah.
And watching an episode or two and waiting a couple weeks and watching an episode or two. And I think we have 2 left now. So
okay, it's
getting there. But I love the series, and I haven't seen anything yet. I don't know. I don't know if you remember the other seasons. Like, do you remember? Maybe it was season 2 or whatever, when there were other numbers, like other people in the experiment.
Yeah, in last season 2, yeah. Whenever spoilers, they met her sister, or she met her sister, and there was one episode of that, and then nothing more, and I haven't seen anything else yet. So I'm just kind of waiting on that to come back, but it hasn't.
And I understand. And it turns out that 11's sister kills 11. I'm kidding. I was just joking right there.
Oh,
I haven't seen anything either.
I haven't got to that episode yet.
I haven't seen it yet, but I don't know, man. I'm enjoying where it's going. It's got a great build up so far, and it's 80s throwback stuff. Sometimes they make it a little bit much, but I get it. I remember that time, and well, whatever. Anyway, brother, DJ, thank you so much for hanging out, man. I really appreciate your time. And
yeah, thanks for having me.
Thank you, man. And how can everybody reach Oberon and grab your music and just say, hey?
Oberon.bandcamp.com, and then Facebook.com /Oberon OK. And you can follow us on Instagram at Oberon Band. And those are the 3 main ways you will find us.
You heard it. DJ, thank you so much. And if I can grab a cheap ticket, man, I might go out and surprise people at FUZZ Fest.
Hey, it would be great to have you there.
I'd love to see all these bands and just to put names with the faces,
Yeah, of course.
All right, brother. Take care, and hopefully we'll connect sometime soon.
All right. Thanks for having me.
You got it.
Thanks, DJ, for hanging out. We're going to hear a track off their latest full release, Pale Blue Dot. This is the song Pillars. Check it out. Thanks for hanging out towards the end. It's doomtunepodcast at gmail.com. Leave us a message. Leave a review on iTunes if you get the chance. Head over to craniumradio.com Sunday afternoons. I will be playing the heaviest in all things stoner, doom, and sludge. We have a whole bunch of other FUZZ Fest band interviews coming up. So, you know what? Get ready. The next one's coming real soon. Until that time, next time, meantime, and in between time, take care of yourselves. Keep going to the shows. Buy that band merch. And don't forget to stay heavy.
I'm keeping it clean. But if you let it away.